Opa,
So
bora.
first of all, congrats on the win.
Thank you.
How did you score the fight?
I thought I had two rounds, maybe 2-1, maybe all 3 rounds. If I don't recall, I think I think I had all 3 rounds, maybe 2-1 for me.
Were you surprised at all with anything he did in the fight? Is it different than what you were expecting?
Yeah, his kicks are very strong, man. Very strong. Well, I wasn't. I knew, but I was still surprised how strong his kicks are. Um, I think I'm surprised with my ribs. They held up pretty well too. But yeah, and I kind of knew his style and his characteristics, his physical characteristics. Very compact, very strong, moves well from a good experienced school and from a good background in Muay Thai. So I wasn't surprised, but it was definitely a little bit different than what I thought.
You've been talking about a title bid for a while, and you did say before this fight that you expected it to get you pretty close to there. Was that a win that you think has solidified that case for you?
That was not a finish, a submission, or a knockout. Unfortunately, again, we were throwing to finish the fight. If they were, whatever the crowd saw, sometimes they're not as happy. I don't know. I mean, if you're more than welcome whoever to get in there and see how he feels, with all due respect. But we were throwing to finish the fight. Sometimes it doesn't happen. It's like, we have that. We are both counter strikers, very similar stature. In our bodies, structure, and we couldn't finish each other. But I think looking at my record and looking at the whole picture, look at who I've beat right now. I can be as humble as I can be, but all the accumulation of the only fight I've lost since UFC 200. I lost UFC 200. Was my only loss since 2009, if I'm not mistaken, and that was a loss to TJ Dillashaw in a decision. I was not ready for that fight. No excuse. TJ is a good guy, great fighter. It was my first fight back from ankle surgery. They offered me the #1 guy. I was like, sure, why not? He was a #1. He still is a #1 guy. And I took the fight, and it didn't go my way, but other than that fight, I haven't lost at bantamweight. I think I've paved my way to the title shot, and not to mention, the division is kind of, I don't know what's going on with TJ's dropping down, and Cody's hurt right now. Dominic Cruz has his own time frame calendar with the UFC. So who's the next guy?
Can you talk a little bit? You were talking before about Dominic and how you felt that maybe he was running the division essentially. Is that how you feel, that he's like maybe they're obeying his timing a little bit too much?
No, I don't think he was running the division or obeying his timing. I just think that he's in a position right now that he can. What's the right word? He can. Yeah, he kind of dictate his own timing, which I think is not right. If you work for the UFC, whoever they tell you to fight, that's how I always approach. Like I just mentioned, I'm coming off ankle. I've got 10 screws on my leg. Hey, you're fighting TJ when you first fight back. Sure, okay. I'm ready to fight. Let's do it. And I just feel Dominic is kind of dictating his own calendar right now. I don't think that's 100% correct. Great guy. He just gave me the thumbs up, cage side. He's a good friend of Brian Stan, which is a very good buddy of mine from Atlanta. But I think I'm the next guy to challenge for the title. A nice guy. Let's get a nice guy to challenge.
You are 8-1 as a bantamweight. Someone with a record like that would be maybe a guy. Well, it would probably be no discussion that you would deserve a title shot. But why do you think that's just the way that you have to convince people that you?
Yeah, apparently I have to convince people and make a statement I don't know how, because my fights, I don't care. You guys know, I mean, the fans, reporters, the whole MMA world, you guys know how difficult these fights are. I mean, you look at tonight, I mean, some of the favorite guys, unfortunately, didn't do very good, man. And I'm fighting newcomers, I'm fighting, hype guys. I was the underdog on this fight. I'm fighting younger guys coming from a huge win streak, and I'm stopping those guys. Marlon Moraes just stopped Marlon from a five-year none, 5 years since he lost, 13-fight winning streak. A great knockout artist. I stopped the guy again. So what else do I have to do? And as I mentioned on the previous Portuguese interview, maybe I need to start doing like some acting school or something. To.
Do you think is maybe the lack of finishes, or is actually this the way you act outside of the octagon that is stopping you from getting a title shot?
I'm not sure if it's the lack of finishes or if it's how I act outside. The lack of finishes is a result of my fighting style. Like I say, I'm throwing to finish. I'm throwing bombs to finish, and the guys that I'm fighting are also throwing to finish me. If you're not 100% focused, you get knocked out. Like I thought I landed like 2 overhand hands on him. I thought he was rocked and I couldn't, but I didn't want to anticipate myself and get caught one of his own shots. But I just feel I feel that I'm still learning as a martial artist. As a martial artist, I feel that I'm still progressing and I have a lot to learn, and that's good for me. When I feel that I still have a lot to learn, that's good for me. It's gonna keep me humble. It's gonna keep me training and learning, and build up upon.
You mentioned you were the underdog coming into this one, and that Marlon was sort of like carrying the hype. Does that make the win more special? Do you cherish it more because you're probably proving something?
It makes it more special. He's more of a striker than I am. He's more well-rounded striker guy than I am. And I feel it's a great accomplishment. The guys, he's one of the prodigies, of the Muay Thai here in Brazil, in the world, and I was able to stop him again. Yet I was able to stop yet another great prospect. I'm happy.
Do you think he's gonna have a good future in the UFC?
I think he's gonna have a good future. You guys watch for him. Yeah, every guy I fight in the UFC that I don't finish, afterwards these guys build a crazy win streak. So you guys watch for him, and then Pedro Moon is one of them. Sterling right now, he's fighting Baron. Anyhow, I'm not gonna mention names, but yeah, you guys look at the guys that I've fought, and a lot of them are high-level guys.
The UFC was very high on Marlon Moraes. Do you think that matching him up against you was a bad call by the UFC if they were trying to build him up?
I don't know. They gave me Marlon Moraes, and that's who they sent me a contract. That's who I signed for. I don't know. We had all the guys that were. I had all the names they mentioned, and then Marlon was the final. Marlon was the final guy that they decided, and that's who I fight. And the guys was a friend, 2 Brazilians fighting in Brazil. I don't know what the intentions are. I don't care, and that was it.
Before the fight, you mentioned Jimmy Rivera, and he's fighting Thomas Almeida now. Do you expect to get him next?
No. I think I've built a lot more of a path than Jimmy Rivera right now. Yeah.
You mentioned your rib a little bit. Do you have a timeline or an idea for when you'll be able to...
Vou nessa, meu irmão. Tá custado, tá doendo. Desculpa. Sorry.
Since we're on the rib subject.
Yeah, I gotta go ice my ribs right now.
Yeah, but you're gonna have to assess how you're feeling before you make any plans, or do you have any idea?
Yeah, I'm gonna assess. I take 2 weeks off from there, but no broken bones. Thank God, no torn anything. So we just a quick assessment getting home. Yeah. Obrigado.